single one of you here. Oh my God, somebody's logging in from New York. That is so fabulous to see. Hello, Mona, Anusha, Saubana, sweetheart, Shilpa, Deepa, Shambari, Radha. Super duper good morning to every single one of you who's here on a Wednesday morning. Today we have a topic, and the topic is why resolutions don't work. So I want to go quickly into that for about 10-15 minutes before I open it up to questions. I'd love for your questions to be around goals, around consistency, around what are you planning for 2025, what clarity do you have. Let's have all of this conversation. Yes? Love it. Fabulous. So why don't resolutions work? What is your guess? Tell me in the chat box in 1 or 2 sentences why you think resolutions don't work, because they literally have a belief that 1st January anything we set, by 6th January most people have forgotten what they have set. Can you imagine? By 6th January itself that 90% of the gyms get really busy in January, and 1st February onwards it's again empty like it is before. So what's happening? What are we not doing right? Why there is so much enthusiasm and excitement to change our life in January, which does not even last us a month? Unrealistic expectations. Very beautiful answer, I must say. Yes, Mansi. Lack of consistency. Absolutely. Because we don't make it into action. 100%. Sometimes the goals are too big. Yes. Because they are only made to write, not to apply. Love that. Vague resolutions because they are not precise. Distractions of life. So beautiful. 100% Shweta. Distractions of life is definitely something that can totally deviate us. Not being consistent. Procrastinating. Losing focus. Lack of confidence. Not realistic. Lack of enthusiasm. Why do we even need 1st January to get our life better or life together? I agree with you. Why do we? Which is why I have touched this topic much in advance. Normally, resolution conversation only starts in December. But here in November, I decided let's have this conversation. So I'm going to speak to you about why goals or why resolutions don't work when we make goals and resolutions just from one thing, which is decision. If the only thing you're doing to set a goal is a decision, from today I will wake up at 7 a.m. From today, then your decision needs what I call the commitment muscle underneath. If your decision is sitting on a weak commitment muscle, the chances are that decision has no meaning. Your words have no meaning. You have no power, power, right? So there is no power in your personality for you to carry the weight of the decision that you're trying to make. And I think that is such an important thing to understand, that whenever we are setting goals, we have to match the level of the goal to the level of our personality. And with time, by accomplishing something consistently, we can build that commitment muscle. So imagine decision making as the skin, as the commitment as the muscle underneath. You want to lift this particular cup, you're going to need skin and muscle, right? Just skin cannot lift it. And a lot of us are making decisions without realizing we don't have the commitment muscle underneath. So I'm going to give you the 3 P's to setting better goals or better resolutions today. The first one I call is planning. Planning is a part of your clarity system. Are you clear on what you want and why you want it? A lot of us just set goals for the sake of setting goals. For example, I will set a goal saying I want to lose 5 kilos. Why do I want to lose 5 kilos? What's going to change in my life if I lose 5 kilos? Will I dress better? Will I look better? Is there anything that I'm being deprived of right now that will become better in my life by losing those 5 kilos? Can I be honest with you? Nothing. Nothing massively is going to change in my life if I lose 5 kilos. I'm going to look maybe slightly better. Maybe I'll be able to tuck in my shirt in my jeans. Maybe I'll be able to wear a belt. Maybe I'll get a few more extra compliments. But it's not going to change my life drastically. So can you see how weak my why is? Alright. Now, let's say today I give my get my blood report done, and I come to know I'm pre-diabetic, or I come to know that I have high cholesterol, or I come to know that there is a minus in my blood report for which I need to work on my weight, how fast I will be able to do it, because now suddenly my why will become super strong. So one of the things I'd love for you to first sit down and do today is plan on what it is you want, and really genuinely ask yourself, on a 1 to 10, achieving this goal, how drastically or how much will my life change? Because if your life is not going to change a lot, but the investment or the effort is huge and the return is very little. For example, for me to lose those 5 kilos, I'm going to have to give up sweet. I'm going to have to give up a lot of the things I enjoy in my fried items. I'll have to give up chaat. I'll have to become more disciplined in my eating. I may have to do intermittent fasting. I may have to start drinking more water. The effort put in to what I'm going to gain in my life is not a match. All right. But today you tell me that my son is getting engaged. Now I want to lose those 5 kilos. So the why or the effort versus the returns becomes phenomenally amazing, because I'm going to be spending a lot of money on the clothes and jewelry that I want to buy for my son's wedding. And I'm just giving you an example. He's nowhere close to getting married yet, but just as an example. So if that is the effort, then I will put in the effort कि यार इतना अगर मेरे को सब्यासाची का लहंगा पहनना है and I want to spend lakhs of rupees on my outfit, I'd rather want to look my very best, the bestest that I can look. So how many of you here are realizing that the first thing that we need to do is realize that a lot of us are setting goals without really seeing what the why or how it's going to change our life. Yeah? So I'd love for you to start to create stronger whys, or start to say, you know what? This goal is a nice to have. It's not a mandatory goal. It's not a life-changing goal. It's a nice to have. अगर दिल किया तो कर लूंगी, नहीं किया तो देख लूंगी. Okay? There are some goals which are literally nice to have. I want to learn Japanese. Let's say, I'm giving you an example. Is it going to change my life in any way? No, but it's nice to know a second language. It's a nice to have goal. When people start to speak too loudly about nice to have goals, then I know at some point that they are not really meaning it. You know, how do I know that? Because the minute I will ask them, all right, so somebody will come to me and say, I want to be on the cover of the Forbes 30 under 30 Puja. And I'll be like, oh wow, that's a beautiful goal to have. And I'll be like, okay, so what are you willing to do for it? But when I hear them what they are willing to do, normally the answer is not enough effort versus return. I'm not seeing. How many of you are starting to understand what I'm trying to say? What I'm going to tell you, what I'm trying to tell you here. Yes? So first thing is to get your why really strong. I would rather you have 1, 2 or 3 goals. Don't even go beyond 3 goals is my suggestion. Have 1, 2 or 3 goals, but make your why super strong. Rather have one big goal and make your why very, very strong. That no matter what, you know, that kind of whys is what leads you. Because you know what? The minute you set a goal, God is going to test you. How many of you know that? That God will instantly test you on whatever goal you set, for Him also to see how much to reward you. You see, at the end of the day, our goal and our luck needs to come together for us to achieve anything. Now, the goal part is the effort we put in. And what I have seen is the more effort we put in, the more God also starts to look at how serious we are. In the beginning, He tests us, but the minute we pass the test, He actually starts to flow the entire manifestation game towards you rather than against you. So I'd love for you to start to look at that. Next is preparation. Now, what do I mean by? So planning is done by figuring out what it is you want and the why behind it. Now, preparation is, remember, your environment will always outbeat you. Everybody, write this down. Your environment will always outbeat you. Now, what does this mean, environment will outbeat you? The truth is that your environment only needs to beat you once. Let's say you said, I will give up sugar. But everywhere around your house, there is desserts lying, there is sweets lying, there is mishri lying, there is dates lying, there's sugar everywhere. What are the chances that maybe on day 1 you'll be able to control yourself, day 2 you'll be able to control yourself, day 3 you may by mistake land up eating, and by day 4 you're like, you know, अब तो weekend आ गया, Saturday, Sunday, अब Monday से शुरू करूंगी. your environment was not serving you, the chances of when your environment is not serving you is that you will eventually lose to your environment. So one of the things I say is, if you want to eat your vitamins, my vitamins should be sitting right in front of you with the water, with your staff having put it in a cup and come and give it to you if possible. That's the most extreme way. Or let them keep it on the table when you're sitting down for breakfast. Make it as easy and as convenient. So preparation equals to convenience. Okay? How convenient can you make this goal? How easy can you make this goal? My husband every day in the evening will tell me, Puja, take out your walking clothes in the morning itself, and before you come out to have coffee with me, change into your walking clothes. Because if you sit there for half an hour in your nightie, the chances are you will get lazy. How many of you are with me, able to understand? Yes, with me? Fabulous. Oops, did it get stuck? Ah, no, it's fine. If you can hear me clearly, just put a heart in the chat box, please. Thank you. So that's preparation. Preparation is to go through your entire environment and really just look at what's serving me, what's not serving me. What works for me, what doesn't work for me. If you are planning to start to wake up early in the morning, your night routine is going to become absolutely very essential, right? But if your phone or your iPad or everything is on your bedside table, what are the chances that you're going to land up watching something and making it late for yourself? Instead, if you have a book, if you have a gratitude book, if you have a evening routine set, how much better will that be? Yes, with me everyone? Superb. So understanding your why, preparing your environment to serve you, whatever that means. For me, it is okay, if I have to do a class session this morning, I need to get ready. I need to make sure all of my makeup is where I need it to be. In the morning, I shouldn't be searching for my kajal pencil. I shouldn't have to sharpen my kajal pencil. I should make it as easy as possible. As easy as possible is what increases the chances of us achieving our goals. True or not? Superb. And the last one, which to me is the most important one, is what price are you willing to pay for this goal? And to me, this is so important because I have realized that goals have no meaning unless you understand the price of the goal. Every goal has a price. If you want to wake up, my husband goes for golf every morning. And if he has to go for golf every morning, what do you think? Can he party at night in the evenings? The chances are no, right? So what is he sacrificing for his golf? He's sacrificing his evening partying with friends or drinking with friends or whatever else, right? For me, I love doing this work. What are the sacrifices I might be making in the process of wanting to do these Insta lives every Wednesday? Sometimes I'm somewhere in the world and there's no internet connection and I'll be going and begging the hotel, I have only 15 minutes, please help me, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. There's always a price to pay. The thing about the world is that they love looking at your achievements, but nobody wants to walk the path of hard work, right? So everybody's enamored by the achievement. They want the achievement, but when the minute you tell them to walk the path is too hard. Then comes what we call the excuses. So today I want you to make a list of, to every goal of yours, what are all the things you're going to have to give up? And are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up sitting on the sofa? Are you willing to give up that chips and mayonnaise? Are you willing to give up scrolling on Instagram mindlessly for hours? Are you willing to give up some of your friendships? Are you willing to give up maybe not being available to your own children sometimes? If you take all of our career goals demand family time. Some of us are so particular about our family time that career is not an option. And so I do believe that whenever you're setting goals and resolutions, one of the things after you set your goals is ask yourself, the price that I'm paying versus the goal that I'm achieving, are they in alignment with the personality that I have? Are they in alignment with the personality that I have? I wanted to have my own identity. I wanted to be financially independent. I wanted to get the respect I deserve, right? These were key values for me that I wanted to work towards at some point in my life back in 2010, 2011. These were my key values. Now, I was willing to pay the price, leaving my little children for two weeks sometimes and going off to America to study. That was a price to pay, right? To some mothers, this would be blasphemous. They'd be like, oh my God, there's no way I'm willing to do that. Perfectly okay. You be the mother you choose to be. I just felt like I'm a better mother when I'm happier, and I chose my happiness over my children for me to come back and share all of my happiness with my children. Different strategies to parenting. I'm not saying anyone is right or anyone is wrong. Right and wrong gets decided by your own value system. What is it you value in your life? I valued respect. I said, even if these children I'm available to all the time, but I'm not respect worthy, tomorrow if they grow up and say things to me that children generally say to mothers, I'm not going to be okay with that. I'm not okay with being a second fiddle to my husband just because he's the earning person of the family, right? So each one of us has our own. What we don't want is one of the most beautiful ways to set your resolutions and goals. Because you know what? When you don't want something, it has a lot more momentum than when you want something. So I knew I did not want disrespect, therefore I wanted respect, therefore I worked so hard for it, right? Now I'd love for you to look at your list of what is it that you're in 2025, you're not willing to adjust to, tolerate or sacrifice. What is it in 2025 that you're not willing to? And then make a list of those things that this is going wrong. These are the things I'm complaining about. These are the people I'm blaming. This is what I need to change. And from that list, you can actually convert it into your goals. So what was the 3 P's? Planning, preparation, price. Plan your goal, okay? Prepare for it in your environment, and then look at what's the price that you're going to land up paying, and then actually ask yourself, am I willing to pay this price? To me, a lot of people want to have a lot of goals, but if you're not willing to pay the price, it's not a goal, it's a wish. And you know what? Wishing is very easy, but actually paying the price for it is what actually leads you to becoming the successful person that you need to be, right? Or you want to be. So I'd love for you to re-examine. Now, one of the things, why am I doing this session in November? If you're a part of my Sisterverse, you know, from the last 3 months, I have just been shaking you up to tell you that, you know what, you cannot set your goals on 1st January. Because the decision alone is not enough. We are about, 45 days away from the new year, maybe a little more, 50, 60 days away from the new year. I want you to spend the next 50 days establishing your goal, tweaking your goal to make it right for 1st of January. Now, what do I mean by that? Let's say you've decided that you want to wake up at 7:30 every morning or 6:30 every morning. I want you to start doing that from tomorrow. And I want you to notice what are all the reasons on why you are failing. I feel like between setting a goal and between setting the intention of the goal and becoming rigid with the goal, there should be a bridge on which we should always walk. Warm up. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. There should be a warm up period. There should be a bridge period. There should be a period where we tweak the goal to our lifestyle. Okay, because sometimes you can land up paying a bigger price. Let's say I decide that, you know what, every morning I'm going to wake up at 4:30 for meditation. But my dear spouse only comes home, I'm giving a random example. My dear spouse only comes home at 10 o'clock. Then I don't get to have dinner with him because I've decided to wake up at 4:30 and do meditation with myself. I'm going to sleep at 8:30. So what happens to the connection in our marriage? He's sleeping till late. I'm sleeping early. What is going to happen? So am I willing to give the price of my marriage to my spiritual practices? Again, there's no right or wrong. It is just that you have to start to understand that every single goal of yours is going to ask you to pay a price. And the problem is not that we don't want the goal bad enough. The problem is most of the time we are not willing to pay the price. So if you are willing to pay the price, and that's the warm-up period or that's the bridge period in your life where I want you to start to go, okay, not 4:30, maybe I can make it 6:30, and maybe I don't need to sleep by 8:30, maybe I can sleep by 11. So 10 to 11, I will serve my husband the dinner. I'll spend an hour with him. I don't need to sit with him till 2 o'clock and binge watch Netflix, but I'm going to spend an hour with him, and at 11 o'clock sharp, I will cut a line and go back to sleep. So that tomorrow morning I can also wake up for my spiritual practices, which instead of starting at 4:30, I'll start at 6:30. Now you're being smart around your goals. You know, a lot of times when I tell people I wake up at 4:30, they're like, even we are going to wake up at 4:30. And I'm like, you have to examine your life. Do not make decisions of good practices that you see of other people and start to make them your goals, because sometimes other people are working with their own personalities and you may be working with a completely different personality. True or not? So I have my best friend who is a brilliant, amazing mother. Okay, so she, no matter where her children are in the world, whether one is in Australia, one is in America, before they go to sleep, they call her up to say good night. Okay. And now sometimes their call comes in at 1 o'clock at night. Sometimes their call is coming at 11:30 at night. And I'm like, every single night they have to wish you good night. And she's like, Puja, that's a rule I had made when they were in school and all of that. And I'm like, wow. I came back home and I said, kids, from today onwards, when you are going to sleep, you have to call me. Okay. You have to wish me good night. Oh Lord. After 3 days, firstly, my children didn't know what to speak to me, because we are not the daily talker kinds. We have long conversations, but we don't talk daily. We prefer actually talking once every 2-3 days, but having longer conversations. I also realized that I'm not that kind of mother who has that level of fear where I need my children to report to me on a daily basis. The reason I'm sharing all of these examples with you is because I myself get carried away looking at some of the most amazing rituals that other people or other families have, and I try to adopt them in my family, and then I make a mess of my own family, and my children were like, I don't know from where mom has gotten this enthusiasm, but I hope it dies down soon. How many of you are realizing what I'm saying? Yes? Now, there are other things I see other families do. For example, back in about 11 or 12 years ago, maybe more, 15 years ago, I met a family that used to go for a family holiday every year. And I remember coming back and telling Puneet that, you know what, we live in a joint family. I know we live in the same house, but house energy is very different from a holiday energy. I would like that every year, we as the 13 of us who live in the Gupta house should go on a holiday for, you know, at least a week or so, and really change the energy. I feel like it'll bring us all closer, and then when we live in the same house, we'll have a better energy. So the first time I suggested it, everyone was looking at my face like, we live in the same house. Why do we need to go spend money, check into a hotel and be together again when we going from the same house? But you know what? This one action in our joint family changed the whole energy of our joint family. Until today, we are together only, I believe, because we have so many routines and rituals. For example, the Sunday lunch or the, Monday dinner sometimes, or like whatever the routines and rituals that we have as a family that we are sharing, that have worked for us because each one is putting in the effort. Okay, so all of these examples is just to take you on a direction where I want your why to be very strong, where I want your environment to serve you, where I want you to create a bridge period between your goals. And I think right now, according to me, 1st November onwards, we are already on the bridge. So I'm going to encourage every single one of you who is listening today that, you know what, today sit down with yourself, set 3 goals and look at yourself fail. Okay. The important part is to see yourself fail. You see, we are so scared of failure, which is why our resolutions eventually fail. Because we did not prepare for failing. Now, when you prepare to fail, you eventually succeed. How many of you understood that? Yes? When you prepare to fail, you eventually succeed. When you are overly confident about success is when you fail. So don't go into your goals confidently. Go into your goals knowing that there are going to be issues that are going to show up, and that every week it's your job to tweak it till it becomes a stretch goal. What is a stretch goal? It shouldn't be so hard that it's impossible. It shouldn't be so easy that you feel like I could have done it even without setting it. Got it? So either which ways, it has to be a stretch. You know how we stretch the rubber band till its last point? It shouldn't break, but it should be, there has to be tension in it, okay? So it should feel like a stretch, right? Got it? So I'd love for you to set stretch goals for yourself this month. So let's take any example. Tell me in the chat box, what goal are you planning to set? Let's get all of you to set one goal first. Okay, give me at least one goal for the next 60 days that you're willing to do on a daily basis. Try your level best to give me a goal which you're willing to do on a daily basis, because our mind has a certain, what gets wired together gets fired. What gets fired together gets wired together. So I want you to be able to do a goal for 21 days continuously for it to become more permanent in your mind. So somebody's writing workout, somebody's writing getting up early, somebody's writing walking. So let's take workout as one of your goals, right? So if workout is one of your goals, let's say you sign up for a gym. Okay, do not go sign up on 1st January. I want you to sign up in November. And then I want you to see, maybe you don't like your trainer, maybe you don't like the gym, maybe you don't like the timing that you've set for yourself. And I want you to do all of your tweaks. This whole next 60 days, there is what I call the exploration stage, okay? I want you to explore how to get your goal ready for January 1st. From 1st January, I want you to go rigid. But till you go rigid, remain flexible in fixing. Okay, see what all do you need, how can your environment serve you, how can your life serve you. Yes, so I'd love for you to experiment with all of this. If you truly don't want your resolutions to fail, I don't want you to learn, or I don't want you to keep on continuing the art of decision making and quitting. This is where most people live with goals. One day you make the decision, 1 week later you quit the decision. So you restart, then you restart on Monday, you restart on 1st February, you restart after 6 months, you restart again next January. These are all the ways that we delay. When you delay a goal, you are basically letting your resistance win. True or not? Yes? So give yourself, exactly, Aftab, give yourself the permission to fail. Thank you for giving me the warm-up word also. Yeah, Assume Baby saying, I've fallen in love with you, ma'am. You are my inspiration. So cute. God bless you. All right, I was trying to find a question and there was such a sweet comment of yours. Thank you, darling. All right, so on that note, I'd love for you to today spend your time first writing your goal, then writing your why, then writing how you're going to make your environment more friendly for you to achieve this goal, then writing all of your list of distractions or the price that you're willing to pay, so list of distractions and what you're going to do about it. Then move into this exploration stage, which is from today till 31st December is your exploration stage where you're allowed to fail. There is no concept called restarting. Okay, I don't want you to live with the concept called restarting. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear, I think so, speaks very beautifully about this very nice concept where he says that you cannot stretch a goal for more than 72 hours, which means 24 hours something doesn't get done, you have the permission. 48 hours something didn't get done, you have the permission. But if you hit day 3 without not doing that goal, then I'd love for you to even wake up from your sleep, go brush your teeth and come back and sleep, and brushing your teeth at night is your goal. So more than 72 hours, you are never allowed to give a goal. You have to do it within 72 hours. So when you give yourself that leeway of 72 hours, you give yourself leeway for life. A lot of us don't understand that while we are setting goals, life is also going on continuously happening to us. And when life is continuously happening to you, you think you can outbeat life. For example, if my parent needs to be taken to the doctor or if my child needs to be attended to, I'm not going to give priority to waking up early or priority to brushing my teeth or priority to reading a book over the family members of my life, right? So life also keeps happening to us. So I want you to build in, in Japan, when they make houses, they build in the scope of the house being able to move till a certain level that if an earthquake comes, the house will not fall. I want your goals to have the earthquake proof material built into your goal, that if 72 hours for any reason you're not able to do your goal, you're still very much a part and your commitment does not change towards the goal. Yes, can you all connect with that? That you're going to have to give yourself a lot more leeway. I feel like we live in a world, like I'll tell you, one of the things I do is I don't drink in Chennai. I will drink outside of Chennai, okay? Alcohol. Now, some people laugh at me, like, what kind of a goal is that? You know, you can just cross the toll and you can drink, and you can just cross the immigration and you can drink. And I'm like, yeah, I can. Because I'm on holiday the minute I step out of Chennai, but in Chennai, I'm working, right? So, I find it very useful for my life because this tweak works like magic. If I don't drink at all, I become a little sad and boring, and I'm not encouraging alcohol in any way. I'm from a Punjabi family where it's completely acceptable, all of this behavior. But if your family is not for alcohol, please let's treat it as coffee, okay? I'm going to talk about how I drink coffee outside of Chennai for now, okay? So then I just wanted to think like that look, I've created a tweak. Now let some people laugh. Maybe some people look at it and say, what kind of willpower is that? Oh, but Pooja, you travel almost 10 days of the month. That means you're drinking 10 days of the month. Whatever it is a discipline. Okay? And can I tell you, even if you drink every alternate day, you are literally drinking only half the year. We don't realize the power of compound effect. How many of you are understanding what I'm saying? Yeah? So you will be amazed at when you say that you're going to do something once a week, you're going to be doing it 52 times in the year, which is brilliant. So do not think of, like, for me, I get bored with exercise. So I have a different exercise routine every single day. And some people go, what? So one day I'm doing yoga, one day I'm doing aqua aerobics, one day I'm doing dance class, one day I'm doing... Because for me, the fact that I have 5 different things to do makes me more committed and more interested in life than doing the same thing every day. I have a problem with the same thing. I just need to move my body, right? That's what exercise is. Then I will move my body every day. Now, how I do it is I am matching my personality to my goals. Now, I want every single one of you here, your goals are not created for other people to be impressed by you. Your goals are created for you to be impressed with yourself. So my suggestion, look at your own personality, look at your own value system, and from your personality and your value system, my husband can do the same thing every day, 7 days of the week, and never feel bored. My brother-in-law can eat the same food every single day for the entire year and never feel bored. For me, just Monday to Friday itself, I can start to get bored with the same food. So each one of us has our own personality, and you know what, the more easier, the more convenient you make the goal to your personality, the more easily you will be able to achieve all that you're planning to set for 2025. Okay, enough said. I've gone more than 30 minutes. Of course, I had planned only for 15 minutes, but as usual, I'm not able to keep to time. But now, no problem. Let's move into your doubts, your questions, anything that you have to ask. I hope all of you've gotten a sweet little dose on why it's so important for us to set ourselves up for 2025 and why this is the best period. November and December is the best period for you to explore all of your mistakes, all of your failures around your goals, so that you don't fail on 1st January. Abhi fail ho jao so that tab na ho. True or not? Can commit to me. Come on, put I commit in the chat box if you're willing to do that. In the meantime, I'll just read the questions. Ivory is asking, want to make a decision because I'm dating since the last 8 years, but don't know if I should marry the boyfriend. I don't know why my family doesn't want, and I love them both, and I'm scared and I'm so confused. So Ivory, I always say this, that the importance does not lie in the decision. The importance lies in what you do after you make the decision. Okay, decisions become right or wrong not because they were right and wrong in the first place. Decisions become right and wrong because what you did with them afterwards. Now, is there any guarantee that if you do an arranged marriage that it will work? Is there any guarantee that if you marry your boyfriend it will work? Neither. So where does all of your power lie? In how you behave. Okay, now you need to sit down with your family and understand what are their apprehensions. If their apprehensions make sense, you also consider them. If their apprehensions are still very just old school, you shouldn't have a love marriage, oh he's outside the caste, or he's outside the community, but he's not that educated, but he's not that rich, but he's not that... Earlier on there used to be a list like that, but all of that can be dealt with. Let's say you are a financially independent woman where it doesn't matter to you how much he earns, then you're cool. Okay, let's say you are someone who doesn't care about caste and community, you're perfectly okay going into a different culture, then you're cool. So you have to see if something is important to you and he doesn't have it, you will miss it for the rest of your life once the love goes away. But if something doesn't matter to you, it only matters to your parents, then it's much easier to convince them that look, this doesn't matter. Like when I was getting married in Chennai, my mom may have felt that, oh, I'm getting married so far away. But I was so excited that this city I'm going to be married in a city that's going to have its own beach. I'm a beach lover, and I was so happy. I was like, oh wow, it's different things, right? Maybe for my mom, she may not love Chennai the way I do, but I absolutely love Chennai. Kisne rehna hai? Maine. So kiski decision honi chahiye? Meri, correct? So same way, I'm going to tell you, your confusion and your scare comes from your inability to believe in your own self. Now, first I need you to doubt. Doubt till you trust. Mahatria, very beautiful sentence. He says, doubt till you trust. Once you trust, don't doubt. Okay? So take your time, examine all of the things that you can see. Anyway, you can only see 50%. It's only after marriage the balance 50% is going to get revealed to you. So in the 50% that you can see, what is the best decision according to you? But remember, all of your correct decision making does not live in the decision making. It lives in after you make the decision. Which basically means, let's say you get married and you realize that, you know what, the amount of money you earn is not enough and he's not earning. Oh my God, what have I done? And can I tell you, there will 100% be some topic where you will be disappointed in your spouse. There is nobody who gets married with 100% of their list complete, right? So let's say that disappointment happens. What are you going to do with that then? Are you going to leave the man because he doesn't earn? Are you going to help him become the person who can start earning? Are you going to get a promotion for yourself and improve your skill set? There are a lot of things we can do even after to fix whatever the issues are. The thing is, you have to carry that confidence in your personality. The description of confidence is not that nothing will go wrong. The description of confidence is that if something goes wrong, I'll still be able to manage. And I think learning the art of being confident to a level where you know that when things go wrong, I'll still be able to manage is something that really can help you make better decisions in the beginning itself. Got it? Dr. Fatima, ma'am, please help. My husband spends a lot on his parents, so much that we are left with no savings every month. When I say something, he gets angry and says it's his duty. What to do, ma'am? Fatima, while I feel bad for you, I am a big believer that every single person who's earning the money has the right to spend it the way they want to. Okay? Now, Fatima, is he giving you enough? Are you happy with the money that he's giving you? If you're happy with the money that he's giving you, I would rather you focus on that and allow him the happiness of giving to his parents. Some of us feel very happy giving to our parents. It is something that we have chosen to do. Our soul feels that duty, feels that responsibility. And you know what? If he doesn't do it, he'll be a very unhappy man. You are thinking money is more important, while for him, his relationship with his parents is far more important than any money that he can earn. For all you know, he may get completely demotivated even to earn money if he doesn't know on whom he's going to spend it. Yes, if he's depriving you or your children and giving to them, wrong. But if he's depriving a future saving, don't worry too much, okay? I'd love for you to give him the permission. Rather, you should be one with him on this, okay? See if you can try to get from him what you need. You can save from whichever part that you are requiring. Then whatever he's left with, he should be allowed to do whatever he likes with it, because it's eventually his money, okay? I like to spend on what I like to spend on the money I earn. If my husband is earning, I can only request. I cannot demand and command. Yes, to a certain level, he is responsible for me, but he's not responsible for me with all of his money should go where I think it should go. He also has an equal right to it, right? So Fatima, my suggestion is start to support him. You know, these are the good men of the world who are loving their parents, who are loving their wife. And somehow we haven't been brought up as wives to teach our boys or sons or husbands that, you know what, it's so wonderful that you're willing to do your duty towards me also, and you're willing to do your duty towards your parents also. Now, I don't know your scenario enough, but you know the energy that I'm sending out. Now, if he's being foolish, okay, if you're feeling like, oh my God, there is soon we are going to get expenses of our daughter getting married and he's not saved anything and all of that, talk to him about your concerns rather than talking to him against his parents. Every time you speak against his parents, even if you're 100% right, remember you are hurting him. When we hurt the people we love, they eventually start to hurt us back in ways that we don't even realize. So I'd rather you work on your marriage where he's allowed to give than have a relationship where he's saving a lot. There's going to be a lot in the bank eventually. But he's unhappy, you're unhappy, and the whole family energy is unhappy. All right. Komal Soni, my husband keeps sharing our personal matters with his mothers and friends. I communicated it multiple times, but it's not working. How should I go about it? Komal, there are 3 levels at which we have to work in our marriage. The first one is, can I accept him for who he is? If this is the biggest problem you have in your life, then maybe this is not that big a problem. Then you can accept him for who he is, that he is just someone who's very open and there's no way of controlling him. Okay, now you've already tried to confront him, but it hasn't worked. But that's the second style of working on your marriage, which is where you start to go, you know what, this is unacceptable. And if you speak like this, then this is what you need from me. And I'm going to set a boundary around this because, you know what, this is not acceptable. So you start to do something that he's not okay with, but he has to pay the price for his behavior, right? So what is it? That every time you will speak about our personal issues in public, for 24 hours, I will choose not to speak to you because I need time to heal. Okay, so you can come up with something. Like, I remember I was not okay with my husband making fun of me in public. So please do not target your jokes on me, is something I used to tell him. And if he made a joke in public, then when he came back home, he would know that I'm not going to be speaking to him for 24 hours. I need 24 hours to heal. If he's okay with 24 hours, if he's happy, he's watching his TV, he's this thing, good for him. But that is how I heal. So there was a price to pay. Now he was not okay with that, so he stopped that behavior, right? So you have to look for what is he not going to be okay with and use that behavior against him, so that he realizes that just the way he's hurting you, you are also going to hurt him back. And the last one is that this is a non-negotiable. So when it's a non-negotiable, it is that I will remove myself from this situation if you ever behave like this again. This normally is applicable more in domestic violence, in alcoholism, in more severe cases. This case is not seeming severe enough to remove yourself, which means the 2 options you have is either you accept him for who he is, or you start to create some sort of boundaries where he pays a price for his behavior. Okay, now this is what I don't want you to do. I don't want you to spend the rest of your life feeling like, why does he share? Some people are sharers, some people are cavers. Some people go into their cave, some people remove their stress by sharing. Okay, now if he's a sharer, it's going to be very difficult for him to become a cave person. So maybe what you can start to do is start to have conversations around the fact that what it does for you. Speak to him about your emotions, speak to him more around why is this important, you know, give him the opportunity. Okay, you can speak to this friend, please don't speak to everybody. Okay, understand that his mother and his friends are his. Okay, somewhere where you are trying to be a part of them, they actually belong to him. You are a part, but to the extent that he is a part. Okay, so the mother is his, the friends are his, right? Like that way, he may be more comfortable in having that kind of a conversation. Maybe that's what he needs to kind of release himself. Okay, now you're trying to make him more like you. And one of the biggest problems we have in marriages is when we start to believe that the way I am, he should be. Doesn't work. Just Assume Babe is asking, ma'am, I have a question. How to deal with self-doubts and deal with constantly feeling like I just don't know much? So we also call this imposter syndrome, or, you know, most of us have grown up with the lack of or the feeling of this belief system that I'm just not good enough. Okay, one thing you can do is start to speak to yourself differently. So every day in the mirror, start to say, I'm good enough, I'm more than enough, I'm actually amazing. Okay, now make a list of all the things where you feel you don't know much. Okay, the world in most things, if you ask me today about cooking, I don't know much. If you ask me about rocket science, I don't know much. If you ask me about calculus, I don't know much. But there are a few things I know a lot about. And I'd love for you to identify those topics in your life that you'd like to know a lot about, and then spend a lot of time. Today, thanks to YouTube and all of the other Coursera and Udemy and just the amount, we live in the information age, and we have no right to be ignorant on topics that are of interest to us. Okay, all you need to do is spend 2 hours a day for the next 60 days, and you'll be smarter than most people in that topic in the world. What? Yeah. If you spend 120 hours learning anything, I'm saying anything in the world, you will be smarter than most people on the planet. So choose whichever those topics are that you feel like, you know what, I want to have an opinion on this topic, I want to have a understanding of this topic, and spend that time and energy on that topic. Okay? So no longer then you have to constantly feel like you're not good enough. And as your confidence grows in these topics, you'll also realize that some topics you don't need to know anything about, right? So in some topics become a master, in some topics remain disaster. Rachna, hello Puja ma'am, after completing your CM, I've found my niche and I've learned parenting in depth and working as a tarot reader. So can I club both of these and be a tarot life coach for mothers? 100%. Tarot is a beautiful first session to take for a mother to get her involved in what the other realm is saying and what you think you can guide her with, and then take her on your parenting program. So it's a beautiful fit, my sweetheart. 100% you can do that. Gonzalez 7 Eric is asking how to reduce sleep time. Gonzalez 7, one of the things I'm going to say that in this world we have demonized sleeping, while honestly speaking the world needs to sleep a lot more than what we are. What does that mean? Sleeping creates repair in our body. Today there is a whole study that children that go to school at 8 o'clock versus children that go to school at 8:15, there is a mental difference in their grades. Can you imagine? So that means that we have to stop demonizing sleep so much. Now what I would recommend to you is, let's say there's a certain time you would like to wake up, you just need to sleep earlier. So once it's dark, our body actually already starts to prepare for the sleep. And once the sun rises, our body automatically starts to prepare for the wake up. The more your circadian rhythm is in alignment with the sun, the more you can do that, the better the health of the person. Now, I don't know why you've asked me this question, so I don't know if I'm on the right track with you, but I will say there's a concept for women especially, which is beauty sleep. Beauty sleep is not just simply a sentence or a words put together. It's actually a concept. 4 to 6 is when actually women have a few hormones that get created if you are asleep 4 to 6. When I had started to wake up at 4:30, I started to have issues with that particular hormone of mine. My doctor just said sleep till 6:30, it will become okay. So now at least thrice a week I make an effort to get up by 5:30 instead of 4:30 just for my beauty sleep. So like that, the more you will study sleep, the more you will realize the miracles of sleep. Longevity and sleep are directly connected. So people who have good sleep live longer lives today. There is a whole science to that itself. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to give you any advice on how to reduce sleep, because I'm a big advocate of the fact that you have to sleep more. There's a lady, I can't remember her name suddenly, but she runs the Huffington Post, if you've heard of HuffPost. So she runs the Huffington Post, and she wrote a whole book on why sleep matters, because she reduced her sleep to the extent that one day in the office, while she was doing some work, she dozed off and hit her head on her table and got massively hurt. And that was the day when she realized that she had self-deprived herself so much of sleep that it all went wrong for her. So a beautiful book she has on it. What's her name? Ariana something. Just Google, no? Ariana Huffington Post sleep book. You will find the book. Okay, let me go right to the bottom. We are literally on our last. Shiv B, hello Puja, my son is into 12th standard and has got into love. How to bring him out of it and make him concentrate on studies and other things? Such a cute question. So Shiv B, the thing about love is that no parent can make any child get out of it. He can do it on the sly, he can do it in his dreams, he can do it in his imagination, my suggestion is, be more vigilant around what you want him to do rather than what he's doing in his free time. So let's say you are going to want him to study for 3 hours a day. Then I'd rather you make him do those 3 hours and let him do whatever he likes in the balance time, rather than trying to control what is not in your control. So when you will keep speaking to him against his love, he will become against you. You, instead of gaining a child, you will lose a child. So I'm not a big promoter of ever punishing the children by taking away things. I am more someone who likes to talk about not what I don't want from you, but what I want from you. So if I want my child to eat healthy, if I want my child to study, if I want my child to go to the gym every day, I will make a list of all that I want from him and make him do that, rather than focusing on what is it that he's doing in his free time or what is it he's doing in his distraction. I won't take away my son's video games. I won't take away my son's friendships. I won't take away my son's, because you know what? One of the things we have to learn in life is to maneuver distractions as we go about life. 12th standard is not just for getting into college, which is what I think it has become for a lot of parents. The focus is only that. For me, I feel like our schooling system or our education system is also a learning for life. So how are you going to remove all his distractions as he grows up? He's not a child anymore. By the way, 12 is the last age that you can actually control your children till. After 13, they are looking for independence and identity. So 90% of the children, when you're saying something to them, they are actually literally thinking of doing the opposite, not because they want to do the opposite, but because if they listen to you, then they cannot build their own identity. They've been obedient till a certain age. Now they need to be disobedient to make their own opinions, their own decisions, their own convictions, their own. So they are creating who are they. They are discovering that. But we as parents forget that from 12 to 13, this switch happens, and we continue to be the parent we want to be for a 12-year-old child. Now, if you had told me your child is 12 and he needs to get out of love, I would have given you a lot of suggestions. But if you are talking to me about a 12th grade child, that's almost a 16, 17, 18-year-old child. That's not a child at all. Okay, so my suggestion, stop treating him like one. Rather become his friend, understand what is he doing in his love life and start to guide him even there. Instead of being against his love, you should be happy that, you know what, in a world where today half the population is not being able to get married, at least your child is having a love interest. Now, having said that, if his real life, if his career life is going to get compromised because of that, that's a conversation and communication that you can have with him. That my concern is not your love, darling. My concern is this is a very, very important year for you. And what are we going to do together so that you can have both in your life? Now, this may be too advanced for you. This may not be the right answer for you. But this is how I think if my child was in 12th grade and was in love. Praishita. Puja ma'am, I joined your coaching mastery. मैंने niche decide की है financial planning for young couples for better relationship. How is this? I'm a CA student. Beautiful niche. I think young couples, do you know the number one reason for divorce in the world right now is money? That money becomes the base of leaving one another. So financial planning for young couples will be such a huge service that you can give, my Jan. I think it's a fabulous niche. Please go ahead. Ariana Huffington, thank you, yes.